Hello YouTube, this will be a quick sneak preview of a new version of the Excel checkbook, and I welcome your feedback, especially on a new feature I'm calling the Set Money Aside register, which is similar to an envelope saving method. But I'll start here at a sample bank account in Register 1. A few things you might notice right away if you've been using the 2025 version is that I added a box at the top to search transactions by description. So for example, I could type in Costco, press my enter key, and it's really just doing a filter feature, but it's just an easy, quick way to find transactions by their description, and then you have a button right there to clear out the filter so you're back to seeing everything. Also new will be a worksheet called Assets, just a very simple list for things like vehicles, homes, retirement accounts, annuities, where you just want to be able to keep track of current values for those items so that you can easily see a net worth. So the checkbook spreadsheet will look at all of your bank account assets along with liabilities, debt obligations, and then show a net worth value. Related to that, the worksheet that was previously called card debt has been renamed to be debt obligations. Again, the idea is that you could list current mortgages, personal loans, vehicle loans, credit card debts, particularly for credit cards that are currently inactive. You're not regularly using them, but you just want to keep track of your progress toward paying this off. The worksheet has been enhanced so that you can play around with your payment amounts based on current interest being charged, and then the spreadsheet will tell you how many months it's going to take to pay off that current balance and what that payoff month will be. And all of this will then will be considered when looking at like your total net worth. Another small addition will be a worksheet or table called subscriptions. Just a really simple way to keep track of all the music, movie, news subscriptions that we all seem to accumulate over time. And the spreadsheet will just make it easy to key in what you're currently paying for those services, and then just automatically calculates what that annual cost is, giving you a grand total for those items. And I personally find it handy to have a record of, well, which credit card was I using for a particular service, again, just for tracking. But the main new feature that I want to showcase and I guess some feedback around, again, I'm calling it the Set Money Aside. And it's around the idea of major expenses that will be coming up in the year, and you'd like to just earmark some money, sort of have a reflection of that in your bank account, which will certainly impact your future balance. And it can be just a really simple, easy way for budgeting or forecasting. So here's how I have it set up. There's a button on every register called the Set Money Aside button. And here on this very basic screen is where you would enter in a new set aside entry. So for example, maybe I know I'm going to be having to pay federal taxes come tax day. So I could put a line in for that, the dollar amount, and what bank account, what register I plan to make that payment from. You do have a purpose drop-down list that you'll be able to easily customize. It's different from the subcategory list, so it is just specific to this sort of envelope saving or set aside money functionality. But after putting that in there, I can click on this button here to add that entry, and what it'll do is it will put that entry in this new register worksheet that I've called the Set Aside Funds register. But it also puts a corresponding entry in whichever bank account register that you had designated. So for example, here is that entry right there. It's got this future date, so it has impacted my future balance in that particular account, and I can just sort of skip over that as I continue to use this bank account register. So for example, maybe on January 6th, I had another entry for a grocery trip, so I could put that in. But you get the idea. So this is just helping you again to forecast, but at any point where you realize that maybe you no longer need to set those funds aside, you can go back to that special register that again is called the set aside funds register. And this would normally just continue to show all of the new set aside amounts that you're putting in there. But at any point you decide, oh, okay, no, I really don't need to do that anymore. There is a button here to delete. And what it'll do is it'll delete it out of this special set aside register, but also go search in your previous register that you had designated and prompt you as, hey, is it okay to delete that out of that particular register? And it'll do so. So, for example, you notice that it has now cleared that entry out. And again, just to demonstrate how this might look as you continue to use it, here I've put in some sample entries to this set aside funds of things for like estimated federal tax payment that I might have to make, money that I want to set aside for a summer vacation, maybe some property taxes that I know will be due also in the month of June. And this gives you the current running balance for all of these entries. And of course, these expenses haven't actually happened yet. They're all in the future. But again, it's just a kind of an easy way to keep track of your plans related to that. So let me know what you think. Please feel free to post any comments here in YouTube or reach out to me at the email address listed on the screen. And I do hope to make this new version available before the end of January. Thanks for watching.